Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, Marcy. Welcome, Clivia. We're back for another
Hello.
episode, y'all. We're
Yes.
back for another episode. Before I get into our usual beginning, you guys, I want to say welcome to our affirmers who are listening, who will listening, no matter where you are in the world. We say to you, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn the notifications on. They kill me to try to find that button every time. Anyhow, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification button so you will be the one of the first to know when we upload a new episode. So we have a new series coming up, and you will see that hitting the platform very soon. And it's about us walking in our feminine energy. So Miss Clivia, myself,
Yes.
and Marcy, we all will be pouring in to each other and to you about how to pour into yourself and to ignite your feminine energy. So I just want to give you guys a heads up on that first. And it's going to be a 4 or 5, maybe 6-part series because we really want to take a deep dive into that because what? We are feminine, right? And we have energy, feminine energy, right? so with that being said, again, I just want to say welcome. And listen, today our subject is celebrating our singleness because all three of us are single, right? Our singleness, no matter no matter the season, no matter the season. Now, by the time you hear this, we may be on the other side of the present season that we're in, right? But it doesn't, when I say season, I mean that figuratively and literally, no matter the season, to celebrate your singleness. So that's what we will be talking about today. I'm very excited about this topic because of us being single. I've been single for a minute, Miss Marcy, Miss Clivia. We're able to really share our different perspectives on it. Recently, I released an article on LinkedIn about singleness and celebrating your singleness. So if you haven't checked me out on LinkedIn, make sure you go there. Miss Marcy with Marcy Moments, she is in-house mental health advocate, right? She's all about us getting our mind right, thinking
Marcy.
our mental health right. And Miss Clivia, her chosen story, hashtag, I have to remember because she has done rebranding. So I have to remember what the new one is now. But she is also has a podcast of her own where she interviews women to get their story, right? To get their story. So as you can see, we all have our individual thing going on. Hashtag her chosen story with Miss Clivia, Miss Marcy, and myself. But collectively, we come here to share in this affirmation space about topics across the board, right? Those things that ignite us and aggravate us too. Because we've talked about those subjects too, right? Those things that aggravate us, but we put a voice to it. So my little 2 cents worth on celebrating my singleness. I don't even know, to be honest, in this moment, I don't know how many years I've been single. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I really don't know how many years I've been single. But I've been single for a long time. And there are times when I'm like, dang man, I've been single for a long time. But those are few and far between. And I have to do the work to dismiss that emotion, right? Because if you're not careful, that emotion will overtake you. So you have to make it, I have to make a decision to dismiss that thought, put it to the side because it's just a moment in time. And I have to choose how I'm going to think about that moment in time. Am I going to do the woe is me thing? I think not. I think not. I am celebrating where I am because in this period of singleness, I really am able to focus on me. I really am able to do the work on me. Listen, because we know where we're falling short, right? We know where we're falling short. We might want to pretend like it doesn't exist, but we know where we're falling short. And if we're being honest, like we do in this space, about ourselves and with ourselves, we got work to do. So while I'm in this singleness, I'm thinking about those things that I'm a little too sensitive about. I'm thinking about those things that I know I should be giving more attention to. I'm thinking about those things that I need to reinforce within myself and not just thinking, but doing the work because honestly, when he arrives, I want to be right for me. Notice I said not right for him. I want to be right for
Mm-hmm.
me. I want to have my mind right. I want to be solid in myself, right, Miss Mercy? I want to be
Exactly.
solid in myself, right? And
Mm-hmm.
be confident in what I'm doing and what I'm saying. And that it's
Yeah.
nice to have him to do X, Y, and Z,
Right.
and give him the space to do X, Y, and Z, but
Right.
fully aware that I'm. Go ahead, Miss Marcy.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay,
Oh,
okay. Ooh. Let me so, and this is going to tie into our femininity.
mhm.
Give him the space. Because
Right.
sometimes we get so caught up on we can do it all
Oh yeah.
until we don't allow him to walk in his masculine and
Mm-hmm.
cover us with that masculine. Now, let me let
Yeah,
you know, and I'm learning, and I've been single, but a little, they here, they be coming in and out. I'm like, okay, all right. But what I'm learning, and I'm learning that each person that I encounter, they're here to teach me a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But and one of the lessons that I've got is had to make me step back and see letting someone do for you, because we put this cape on
Yeah.
and we put
Right.
this S on our chest,
We talked about that.
and
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
we've talked about this on many occasions, and we can do it
Mm-hmm.
all. Stop.
Now I have a question real quick. Do you
Okay.
think because we are so independent, we're so single, living single, right? That was one of my favorite
Yeah.
shows. Do you think we are maybe single for too long that we feel like we are not able to embrace that masculine, you know, partner?
You
You know
know
what I'm
what?
saying?
I've heard and seen different clips here and there about men saying, commenting that
Mm-hmm.
she's been single a long time. It's going to be
Right.
tough. It's going to be a challenge
To
to
crack
get
that.
her to let
Yeah.
me lead. But see,
Right.
that's an area, an opportunity of growth for us.
Right.
If we know that that could be a thing,
Mm-hmm.
us being so independent that when he tries to
Mm-hmm.
do something for us, we done jumped ahead and did it ourselves.
Long
I
time.
got it. Don't worry about it. I already did
I
it.
got this. I don't need
Right.
you. And it's like, I know you don't need me, but I want to do this for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if we recognize this already as single women, then
Yeah.
that's an area of opportunity for us to firm up. That
Yeah.
when he arrives, now we have to be choicey of
Yeah.
who we allow in, right, Miss Marcy? We
Of
have to
course.
be choicey about that.
Yeah.
Now you can take me out to
Say it.
dinner, but let me tell you, I drive to the destination by myself. I leave the destination by myself. Okay. But exactly, you definitely have to be choosy. Don't just because he bought you a pack of M&Ms and oh no. But to me, and what I found is the energy.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It really
It's
That
is.
the
emotional connection.
energy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, because
Mm-hmm.
it was a guy and he was long distance, but there was a situation and I had to go face that situation. I'm pissed off, and if I
Mm-hmm.
would have went in there just with the way I was, it wouldn't have worked out. But as I was going to the destination, I had a friend of mine, and he was talking. He was like, "Hey, babe." I need you to like the whole time. So by the time I got to the destination, I was like, okay, he had put me back into a feminine mode place. Even
Mm-hmm.
I had to show my masculinity, but I still did it with a feminine um voice. I'll say
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Because I was going up there like beep, 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 beep. But when I went because the way he talked to me, the way he said, "Hey, this is what I need you to do. These are the questions I need you to
Right.
ask." He
Right.
far away, he gave me that covering to allow me
Yes.
to yet be firm, but yet
Mm-hmm.
still walk in my femininity, and that's
Right.
key. That is so key.
So
Yeah.
while we're
Yeah.
in our singleness, ladies, and we're not just talking to us here, anyone who's listening, this is an area for us to address. Are
Yeah.
you willing to yield to his masculinity? And if you can't answer that yes affirmatively and firmly in your
Yeah.
singleness, then we need to work on that. We
Right.
need to
Agreed.
work
We
on
have
that.
work to do on ourselves. Yeah.
We do. And in living, and for me, I think about that often, that because I've been single for so long, that when he arrives,
Mm-hmm.
I want to yield to his masculinity, his
Yeah.
authority, his
Yeah.
instruction, his protection,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
His protection, which that brings us back to the being selective about who you are, who you are speaking to. But Miss Clivia, what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, this is so good. Because and we've had episodes where I shared being married for 7 years. This year makes 7 years divorce. Next year, number 8, new beginning. So I'm excited for that. Well, this year actually, um, new beginnings. And I mean, sometimes not even fearful, right? But am I ready? And again, in 2023, my affirmations were I ask, I seek, I knock, I'm ready. What was I ready for? I don't know. And part of that question mark was, is it a relationship? And I honestly believe I had enough time to strengthen my emotions mentally, even physically, spiritually, so that I would be ready, right? So when my king finds me, because he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. I'm already a wife, right? So he just got to show up,
You are that good thing.
Exactly. So I honestly think it has been a good 7 years, and me having, I mean, you to have older children, right? So me having children that are now 10 and 13, I want them to see me loved. I want them to see me cared for, right?
Mhm.
Not yelled at, not, verbally abused, and Lord God knows, not physically, but just being loved by that masculine king, right? That person that was really created for me, soulmates, if we will. But definitely, I know that I'm ready, and I had that time, right? Maybe after even 4 years, I could have said yes, I was ready, but could have been a little fear of what will my children think, and I didn't want to have different guys being introduced. That was not my
Right.
thing. So I think even now, like, maybe I'll be celebrating something in 2026. I don't know,
Well,
but
we will be. We
we
will.
will be there. We're gonna speak
Yes.
into existence. So I'm
So,
excited.
but ladies, okay, I hear you. I hear all of that about what's to come. But right now, we are single.
Okay,
So in our
let me say
singleness,
this. I do enjoy my bed. I love that I can stretch, even though my daughter's on the side of me. I don't have to worry about, other than, again, I have to mention the children, other than taking care of them, they can eat nuggets and fries for dinner. When there's somebody else, they may want a full course meal. I don't have to worry about that. So again, look at Marcy's face. I'm preparing so that when that time comes, okay, yes,
yes,
I'm
yes,
okay
yes,
with cooking a full meal, right?
right.
But as of right
Mhm.
now, like we said, in the
Right
present,
now,
I'm
yes,
enjoying being single because,
exactly.
but I'm also now feeling like I can do with a companion after so long.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Exactly. And that's why I don't want us to get too far away from that, about us celebrating our singleness in any
Mm-hmm.
season, what figuratively
Right.
and literally. We are in a
Yeah.
season of celebration right now. There are going to be parties and this, that, and the third, and being able to show up in that space, right? In your singleness and in your femininity, Miss Marcy, right? And
Yes.
feel
Mm-hmm.
nothing but good about that. Not letting anybody try to say, oh, well, you by yourself? Yes, I am. Is that a problem?
Right, right. And
Is
somebody
it,
in the comments just said, with singleness also comes a form of peace and choosing not to deal with the mess. And that's so true. And that's what I
that's true.
chose. I was okay with peace over everything else. Like, let me be single and just be peaceful. So that was
Listen,
big
y'all
for
saw
me.
that clip that I shared about I don't play when it comes to my peace. I don't play with that, right?
Let me
And nothing comes before my peace. What you got to say, Miss Marcy?
let me tell you, somebody who was depressed for 3.5 years because
Right.
it was my mess and other people's mess that I was a collateral damage for me.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if you text me wrong, oh, I will delete you.
Mm-hmm.
I would delete you to the point like I can never find your number.
Mm.
It comes up as an unknown.
Not even in the phone book.
It's not even unknown. I would delete and block. Okay.
Exactly.
What you won't do is pluck my nerves.
Right.
Not
Right.
at all. No, ma'am, no, sir.
What I find though, with us being single, we are so easy to do that because we've been single so long. Miss Cliffy just said, "Well, I don't have to worry about cooking if I don't want to." Me, I don't listen. Mine are good. My children are good and grown. I wish somebody would, but then at the same time, I'm thinking, well, one day somebody will. Are you
Right.
ready for that? In my
Right.
singleness, I choose to think about that and say, well, you got to remember, with this desire to have a partner, a male partner in your life, comes some other things too.
Yes.
Them wanting your time, they want to talk on the phone, or there's some things that come along with the relationship that I haven't had to deal with in a very long time.
Are you ready, Karen?
Huh?
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Listen, in one voice I am, in the other voice I'm not sure.
And I think, honestly, I'm going to be somewhere being a blonde. And I know he's going to show up and I'm going to be like, oh, okay. You want to do what? Take me out. I think I'm going to be totally surprised. Like, you want to take me out?
Right.
Okay.
Right. What about even receiving? I mean, we talked about allowing him, right? But what about even receiving compliments? I know for me, even when I was married or even trying to date over the phone or whatever it was virtually, compliments, like we're talking about affirming ourselves, but even receiving affirmations from men, like you're beautiful. I have not heard those words in a very, very long time, right? You're beautiful. You dress, you look good. Oh, that red lipstick, come let me kiss you. Like those type of very sensual things. Like, how do you guys receive compliments? And, would you receive them?
Okay. Very well.
Okay. It's for me, I know it'll be something new. It would be like, oh, that's how that sounds to receive, for me, it'll be very, very new.
It is a beautiful thing. Like we speak beautiful words to ourselves.
Yes.
But when you hear those compliments, it's just like, thanks. Oh.
Right.
And I think that's because we speak it to, and you guys have heard me say this, that if you don't speak to yourself well, how can you authentically receive it when somebody else says it? We've been taught to say thank you. We've been taught to smile and be nice when someone says something to us, right? A compliment. But do we truly receive it? But I don't think you can receive it authentically when you're not saying it to yourself. You're not saying it to yourself in your singleness. You're not saying just how beautiful you are and how confident you are, how courageous you are, and that you really are in that you're standing in that you're saying. So in our singleness, we have much to ponder. And Ms. Marcia just said, I receive it very well. And that's because she's been talking to us real nicely.
Yeah.
But and this is yet another part. Let's go back to, I forgot what episode we were talking about this. Mirror work. Talking to yourself in the mirror, or being in the mirror completely naked and loving on yourself.
Yes.
And not pointing out what you don't like, but everything that is beautiful about you, which is everything. So when you can instill that in you, when you receive compliments, it's more flowing. Thank you. We're like, oh, such, because I have a friend of mine, he was like, you're just a beautiful chocolate something. I said,
I love it. I want to mention I recorded an episode in December, and it was actually me doing a live reading of part of my book. And when I got to B, it was I am beautiful. And I did share it. It was a struggle for me to say those words. And you just mentioned, Marcy, mirror work, standing in the mirror. And it took me a while, and we make joke of me, giving myself the side eye, maybe not wanting to make that connection with myself. But it took me a while for me to repeat, I am beautiful, because again, it wasn't told to me. And I had to affirm that to myself, reading the scriptures, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, regardless, right? Having children, we have those beauty marks on our stomach. And I had to really learn to say those words, I'm beautiful. So I do understand in regards to when I do hear it again, it's going to be like, thank you. Do it,
And when
Marcy.
you hear it from somebody, because it's part of your DNA, when you hear someone else say it,
right,
it's like, oh, okay. Because the sad part about it is we've received how people, like, oh, you just like your daddy. You already knew it was a negative connotation, right?
Right.
But why can't we receive this? You're so beautiful. Your skin is just absolutely alluring. Why can't we learn to receive those words of compliments?
Yes.
And it does the body good.
It really does. It really does. I think, I know, actually, I'm not going to say I think, in being single for whatever the time frame is, by choice or by force, right? Because when I say force, someone broke up with you that you really wasn't expecting, or you chose to say, I'm going to let that go because it's not good for me, and just really focusing on yourself. In our singleness, really being honest is hugely important.
Yes.
Being honest with yourself about yourself, because if, like Miss Clivia said, if you're not doing the work so that you can be already comfortable with hearing yourself compliment you, mirror work is tough.
Yes.
Mirror work is a challenge. However, if you truly want to get to a place of loving yourself, no matter the season of life you're in, you got to do the work. You've got to do the work.
Yeah.
There is no shortcuts, y'all. Stop it. There are no, I don't care if you're single, married. Hopefully you've done the work before you get married, because you're just two single people with your own stuff coming together, right? To try and have a life together. But when in your singleness, that's the time. And I don't mean getting to a point of being that angry Black woman. Forgive me. I don't get that phrase at all, but I'm going to say it now. Because we can get so, I ain't got time for him. I ain't got time for his things. I ain't got time for his foolishness. Look, are you wearing it on your face?
Right.
You know what I mean? Are you wearing it right here? They can see, she's an angry Black woman. I'm not going near her. She's beautiful, but I'm not going near her, because I can see it all over her countenance. That you really are wearing that energy because of whatever the reasons may be.
Bitter.
Hurt, disappointment,
not healed.
Abuse of any kind, which we don't condone that here, right? At some point, you have to choose to do the work. Yes, he, she, they, all of that exists. We're not negating that. But we have ownership in our own stuff. And taking that ownership, owning, you know what? A year ago, I saw the signs, but I stayed anyway. For whatever your reason is, no judgment here.
No judgment,
right? Because we've all done it. But I believe in our singleness, taking ownership of what we did, what we didn't do, what we ignored. And you know what? Honestly, there's sometimes I just didn't see it.
Yeah.
I just didn't see it because I had trusting eyes. I had a trusting heart. There was no reason for me to think X, Y, or Z, because I wasn't looking for that. And many of us have that story. However, even in that, taking ownership that I had blinders on, right? So now that I'm in this stage of singleness in my life, and when I say take ownership, I'm saying take ownership of the experience and the role that you played in it, whether it was being naive, whether it was had rose-colored glasses on, no matter what it is, no heat, judgment. But in your honesty, you're able to now take those glasses off with 20/20 vision, because now that it happens, you do have a clearer vision and do things differently for yourself. I'm not saying do something different for him or them, for yourself, because in my singleness, when we single, we talk to ourselves a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm a good conversation.
I do want to mention something too.
Go ahead.
I remember while I was in college, dated somebody for 3 years, and again, I may have mentioned this. I forgot what the topic was, but basically was in a 3-year relationship. And we graduated. I was given a promise ring. They were from another state. I'm going to come back. We'll do life together. He never came back.
Oh.
So of course I was crushed, right? And even in that singleness, got over it. But that year, because I believe it was a year, I started writing again, right? Because I had time to do things. And that was the first book that I actually published. And it was just thoughts that came together in a composition notebook. So I had time to write. I started my dance camp, which lasted for almost 13 years. So things happen, So for some that might be listening to us, whether it's live on replay, these things might just, a curveball might happen in your relationship where it's unexpected. But what would you do in that singleness? Talking to yourself, right? Finding that during COVID, we were separated. Some were alone. Like a lot of people found their gifts during that alone time. So don't lose yourself, but find yourself in your singleness.
Listen, some people found their singleness in COVID.
Yeah, for sure. They did, because they realized, oh, this is who I'm with.
Oh yeah, I realized that's who he was with.
As much as we laugh about it, it really is
That's who he was with.
Subject. It really is, because I have heard so many stories of people choosing one or two things. They chose one or two things. Like, you know what? Okay, we're here together. I'm going to I know what to. And one or two things happen when you realize, who is this person? You either decide like, okay, especially if you're really committed to the relationship, I'm going to do my best for us to learn who we now. It's a two-party agreement to learn each other. And I've heard stories about that too. People who did the work to relearn each other, right? Especially when kids were involved. But then I also have heard stories of people like, oh, dang, I didn't see any of this. And probably because you were so busy with life and work and responsibilities, you didn't really take the time to see all those red flags that was waving in front of your face, right?
The beginning of my marriage. Let me just share real quick, because he had a night shift, so it was just me. And then he changed his shift to daytime, and I'm like, oh, this is who I'm married? Like a few months in, and I'm like, okay. Like, oh, yeah, it was interesting. So yeah.
And that happens because you don't interact enough to really get to know each other, because your awake hours are different, right? Your work hours are different. You're passing like ships in the night, right? You're not really engaging. And listen, no judgment for anyone, but that's when you don't really know your partner, it's like, okay, what are we doing here? That's a problem.
Nice to
That's
meet
a problem, right? So in our singleness, and we're going to get to wrapping this up shortly. In our singleness, let's be responsible and accountable for the time that we have in our singleness, right?
Yes.
Use this time well to grow, to enhance yourself, learn some new skills, to work on yourself spiritually and emotionally.
Yes.
And as Ms. Marcy is quick to say, and mentally, your mental health. This is a good time to secure a therapist, if that's or someone in your church, or a good friend that you can really trust to give you some solid feedback. This is in your singleness. It's a good time to work on things like this, because we here advocate for us being ready for when he arrives, right?
Yes.
It is not about him, but for those of us that desire that, it's about him, right?
Right.
We want him to come to us right, and we want to come to him right. Right? Correct, ladies?
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
No, I agree.
I'm speaking some facts here.
All day. All day.
All day. We're going to get ready for our affirmations that are coming up. Our affirmations that are coming up. We each have our affirmations, and you already know it. Everyone, all of our affirmers, that the foundation of this space is about affirmations. We have plenty of topics that we discuss, but we wrap up every episode with our affirmations, correct? And reminding ourselves of who we are and whose we are and why. And then after we do our affirmations, we're going to go into our usual scripture that we can count on Miss Clivia for, right? So yes, and we are, what did I say? Affirmations. So whose affirmation is going to come up first? I think it's mine, right? My affirmations are going to come up in just a second. Yes, there it is. Yes, I am whole and complete in myself. Embracing this season of singleness as a time for deep personal growth, love,
Yes.
and spiritual alignment. Let me read that just one more time because I stuttered a little bit on that. I am whole and
Yeah.
complete in myself. Notice that, y'all. I'm not incomplete because I don't have someone. I am complete
Right.
in
In myself.
myself.
I love that.
Embracing this season of singleness as a time for deep personal growth, self-love, and spiritual alignments.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love
that
it.
was good.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it.
Self-love. Love it.
I think Miss
Love
Marcy
it.
is up next with hers.
Listen,
Mm,
I deserve to feel loved,
that's right.
cherished, and
Yes.
celebrated. Starting with who? Marcy.
Marcy. I love it. I love it. Love
That's
it.
good.
All right, here I am. I am grateful for the freedom to sleep in my own bed that comes with being single. Allow me to explore new experience without limitations.
Love that. Love that.
Love
That's
it,
good.
love it.
Ashe.
And I do have a scripture. Regardless of what season you're in of your singleness, maybe, newly single, single for years, decades, hopefully, For I know the plans I have for you. So don't worry about it, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. Jeremiah 29, verse 11.
Ooh, love that, love that, love that,
Yes.
love that. This has been a
Amen.
great conversation
As always.
as usual.
Yes.
As usual. We really do enjoy coming to you all to remind you of who you are and remind
Yes.
you of the power of your words.
Mm-hmm.
And that we, no matter what we're going through in life, there's always a better way to look at things, a better way to handle them. So before we get ready to go, you guys know how we close out every session. You are your first priority. So act like it.
Act like it.
Yes, act like
Right.
it. With that being
And
said, everyone,
subscribe.
thank you again for coming to listen. That's right. So make sure you subscribe.
Subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn the
Yes.
notifications on so you are aware of when we have new episodes up. We thank you so much for being a part of this community. And with that
Yes.
said, we're going to say so long until next time. Bye-bye,
Right.
everyone.
Bye.